Linking ideas smoothly, using transitions. Hi everyone, my name is Antony P. and welcome to this video brought to you by the Center for Academic Literacy here at NTNU. The previous lesson in this series, Lesson 4, was on strategies for selecting and incorporating evidence to support your arguments and using visuals and examples to enhance the clarity and persuasiveness of your presentation. This is Section 5 on using transitions. This lesson has two main sections. Section 1, understanding the importance of transitions and signposting in guiding your audience through your presentation. And Section 2, techniques for smoothly transitioning between ideas and sections. All right, let's go. Let's go. Section 1. This lesson is about creating a smooth presentation. A smooth presentation is one where your audience knows what you have talked about, what you are talking about, and what you will talk about. For this section, let's start out with highlighting the strongest academic transition strategies. So, English has hundreds of transition phrases, but the strongest transition phrases for an academic presentation are the transition phrases that have a clear meaning with no nuance. Nuance means feeling. Here are some of the strongest transition phrases for order. First, second, third, originally, previously, subsequently, next, finally, last. Here are the strongest transition phrases for contrast. However, but, unlike, on the other hand, despite, in contrast, differing from. Here are the strongest transition phrases for addition. In addition, additionally, furthermore. Lastly, here are the strong transition phrases for emphasis. Undoubtedly, particularly, especially, absolutely, definitely. It should be noted. I would like to draw attention to. Here are the strongest transition phrases for illustrating. For example, such as, to show that. All of these strong transition phrases have clear meanings with no nuance. Now, let me give you some examples of weak transition phrases. Besides. Besides is a weak phrase because it means that you are already done presenting your main argument, but now you want to add another argument, almost as an afterthought. When I hear besides, I hear this next point is not very important. It can sound dismissive and dilutes the original argument. Therefore, academic writers and presenters rarely use besides. Moreover, and in addition, are strong alternatives to besides. Number 2, basically. Basically can sound overly casual and precise. Fundamentally is a strong alternative to basically. Number 3, anyway. Anyway is conversational and may come across as too casual. Nevertheless, or however, are strong alternatives to anyway. Number 4, opinion transition phrases. These include I think, I believe, personally, in my opinion, in my experience. These are all weak because they are not data-focused. Strong alternatives include we found that, the data show, and our findings indicate. Please note, opinion phrases may be suitable for your discussion section or question and answer section, when the audience is expecting to hear about your opinion or personal story. We have just finished discussing strong and weak transition phrases. Now, let's move on to signposting. Signposting involves using verbal and visual cues to guide the audience through the structure, content, and flow of your presentation. Here's how signposting is used in academic professional presentations. Let's look at an example of an agenda. At the beginning of your presentation, provide an agenda or outline of what you will cover. This is typically a slide that lists the main sections. Transition phrases. Use strong transition phrases to signal shifts between different parts of your presentation. Clear section breaks. Use clear markers or slides when changing topics. This tells the audience that you're moving on. Summarizing and reviewing. After discussing a section or point, briefly summarize the key takeaways before moving on to the next part. This reinforces what you have covered and prepares the audience for the next topic. Logical flow and order. Each section or point should logically build upon the previous one, leading the audience through a coherent storyline. We discussed this in Lesson 2, Building Blocks, Organizing Your Presentation. By employing these signposting techniques in your academic presentation, you can help your audience better follow your presentation structure, understand the progression of your ideas, and stay engaged throughout the session. Okay, we have just finished Section 1 on understanding the importance of transitions and signposting in guiding the audience through your presentation. Now, let's move on to Section 2. Section 2, techniques for smoothly transitioning between ideas and sections. This is a signpost, by the way. This section is all about applying what we have learned in Section 1. Let's start at the beginning of your presentation with an agenda slide. This is an agenda slide. Agenda slides are the perfect transition from your introduction to the body of your presentation. The agenda slide lists the content and order of your presentation. Please take your time to read each point so the audience can fully prepare. For example, here's my presentation's agenda. We're going to first start with my literature review, then hypotheses, then my studies methodology, then we'll discuss my data and results, discussions and conclusions, and finally, question and answer. I'm actually looking forward to this section and our resulting discussion. Okay, let's get started. Section 1, literature review. See what I did? I used the transition phrase, let's get started, then I moved into this signpost that has the title and section all alone. These are all powerful techniques to transition smoothly. Thanks, classroom Antony. Use visual cues. Utilize visuals like infographics or diagrams that visually connect different sections or ideas. Visuals can guide the audience through information. Here's an example of a diagram that smoothly transitions through 3 stages. Next section, pause between sections and ideas. Use pauses strategically between sections to indicate a transition. A brief pause can mentally prepare an audience for the shift in focus. For example, let's bring back up the diagram. Here's how I would use pauses when describing it. Stage 1, we identified the target group. Stage 2, we collaborated with the government agency. And stage 3, we collected data. Next section, tell a story. Introduce a short story, anecdote, or analogy that bridges the gap between 2 ideas. This is often used when introducing a problem statement. Here's an example. During our research, we were surprised to find dozens of studies that focused on early childhood developmental milestones, and this was encouraging. However, it was very difficult to find studies that focused on older adults. Next point, establish links. Explicitly connect the previous point with the next point. Highlight the relevance or connection between these points to maintain a smooth flow. Here is an example. Having discussed the impact of climate change on biodiversity, let's now explore how these environmental changes directly influence global food security. Personally, I like this strategy a lot. Don't assume your audience can make connections on their own. It's your job to lead them through your presentation. Let's do another example. Now that we have analyzed consumer behavior trends, we can now delve into how these patterns directly impact marketing strategies and product development within the industry. Next point, logical flow and sequence. Organize your content in a logical sequence so that each point naturally leads to the next point. A well-structured presentation naturally transitions on its own. Chronological order and research paper order are two common presentation structures. Again, my name is Antony P. from the Center for Academic Literacy here at NTNU. Thanks for watching. In this video, we learned about the importance of transitions and signposts in guiding the audience through your presentation and techniques for smoothly transitioning between ideas and sections. The next video in this series is Lesson 6. Let's chat, engaging with the audience. Techniques for engaging the audience during a presentation and strategies for handling questions and interactive discussions effectively. I'll see you there.